I am all about America. I love America, and I love our American
just keep holding it up
servicemen.
like that.
But this is
It's
the
already
only
going.
vet I do not recommend you shake his hand. He is a disgusting motherfucker, but I love him to pieces. Can y'all show that rock and roast love for Adam Cameron? He wore a Hawaiian shirt to a metal fest. Come on, I mean, you know, he don't give a fuck.
What the fuck you doing over there, Ozzy?
Alright. Hope they don't mind if I use the drums for a second.
Here I'd be like,
Anyway, hey, thanks for having us, and it's glad to see that rock and metal are still alive.
here I'd be all
Oh yeah, and Scott said, I don't know any of you, but Scott, for those that don't know me, I am a military veteran. I'm a Navy vet. Thank you. And that's going to mean a few things. It's going to mean things like I've got a bachelor's degree and no college loan debt. It means I really don't like politicians of any ilk. Also going to mean things like I have been around the world, man. I've literally circled this bitch. I've visited exciting places. I've lived exciting places. I have literally done those, I can tell you, but I have to kill you type of things, right? So what I found to be the most interesting thing, I guess, is that the most shocking thing in my life didn't happen to me overseas. It happened to me when I moved back to the Midwest. And we are in the Midwest. Trust me, I have a bachelor's degree in geography. I know what I'm talking about. And, you know, so in the Midwest, we have them wholesome values that I can only assume you hear about in country songs. I mean, we're just going to have to trust me on this because they told me. But I'm at a bar. I'm not a native of Michigander. Actually, I'm from Illinois originally. And I'm at a bar back in Bloomington, Illinois. And I'm hanging out. And I'm talking to this young lady. And she's pretty, but I think she really overestimated her cuteness. And we're talking. And she tells me, you know, I ask her, hey, where are you from? And she cops this bitch attitude. And she says, I'm from Chicago. I was like, wow, that's really awesome, exciting, and cool. I used to live in Hawaii. I kind of felt like I'd won that round. 20 minutes in, and this despicable fucking bitch looks me in the eye and she says, you know, you can buy me a drink if you want. Really? In that case, you can give me a blowjob in my car out back if you want too, right? And apparently I had gone too far. I was over the line. I'm the asshole. And, you know, it's like hashtag me too all over me. I get it. And so this woman is furious Juanis when she looks me in the eye and she says, sir, I don't know what kind of woman you think I am, but I am not a whore. I'm all sorts of confused at this point. You see, I've been overseas, and I've been through these sorts of transactions before.
I've been drinking, girls.
So I can't, yes, I remember them. So I take a step back, and I say, lady, look, you were just sending me mixed signals. All I thought we were doing was haggling over the price.
That's good.
So anyway, when I was in the Navy, I was a submarine sailor, and I've been doing this comedy thing on and off for a few years, and a lot of my veteran friends are like, hey dude, how come you don't tell like jokes like you would like when you were on the boat, you know, share that famous submarine humor? And I said, that's a stupid fucking idea. I said, you know, because someone wise than me once said, look, there's a difference between telling a story to your friends at the bar and, you know, being up on stage and telling. Sometimes it doesn't work out. So I wouldn't want to tell you guys about how on a Fleet Ballistic Missile submarine we have enough room to do the Pinewood Derby. And we do. And so this one guy went ahead and got himself a derby car kit, and he went ahead and he carved into a giant penis. It was vein and all, circumcised it. It was a fucking work of art. He's a Mexican dude, so he went ahead and he also kind of colored it in brown. I wouldn't tell you guys that shit, because you guys would look at me and say, Adam, you need Jesus. That's fucking fair. I wouldn't feel comfortable telling you guys how this one time we pulled into Singapore, and in the import brief, they let us know that Singapore was the sex change operation capital of the world. So I'm at the bar and I'm talking to this young lady who was really pretty, very pretty. In fact, too pretty to be talking to me, so I got a little suspicious. So I reached under there and I Crocodile Dundee packet checked that girl. And I wouldn't tell you guys a story like that, because you guys would look at me and say, Adam, how come you're not on a sex offender registry somewhere? And that's fair. And I don't know if I am, so there you go. Finally, I wouldn't feel it's appropriate to tell you guys about this fictitious game we made up to go and haze and harass the new guys. See, when I was served on submarines, it was an all-male service. Women were not allowed to serve on submarines. So we would look at we'd find a new guy, and we would call them Nub. It stood for non-useful body. So we'd call one of the Nubs up and be like, hey, dude, come here. And he'd come running up to you. He's like, oh, yeah. How can I help you? What can I do? It's like, hey, man, do you want to play hot chick? He's like, I don't know. What's hot chick? And I said, oh, it's this really fun game where we go into a dark room and you pretend the guy jacking you off is a hot chick. I wouldn't tell you guys that because you guys would look at me and say, dude, that's the last time I ever fucking thanked a veteran for his service. I'm fucking sweating like a gerbil in a gay bar right now, I'm telling you. Anyways, you can tell, being a vet, I come from a long line of people with incredibly warped sense of humor. Long lines, a very big tradition. If you have a friend who's a veteran, they are a sick motherfucker. And I know a lot of people like to go ahead and thank us for our service, and just know that everybody that you may have said, hey, thank you for your service, they have laughed at something that's going to take them straight to hell. And so, you get these people who want to tell you how nice some of their vet friends are, and hey, that's cool, I get it, but I'm not believing you, because I know these guys, I'm not believing you when you tell me about how my neighbor, his name is Artie, and Artie is such a nice man. He fosters kittens and puppies. I'm like, that's great, good for Artie, yeah. Yeah, Artie laughed at a kid in a helmet one time. He laughed so hard he pissed himself, trust me, I know. So I live in Holland nowadays, and I have a friend of mine there who's another veteran. He's a Vietnam veteran though, or as I like to call him, the baddest motherfuckers that ever walked the face of the planet. And so he was telling me how he went to this restaurant one time. He's waiting to go ahead and get seated. So the hostess calls him up. And he told me the hostess was this attractive young Asian woman. And he says, hey, she sees his hat, says Vietnam veteran. And she says, hey, are you a Vietnam vet? And he says, yes, ma'am, yes, I am. And she says, takes a moment, she says, you guys are all very bad. You guys were all very bad GIs when you were in Vietnam. My friend was a little taken aback. He says, excuse me, miss? And she says, yeah, you were all very, very bad GIs. You left a lot of babies behind when you left Vietnam. My friend, he's a vet, he's not going to turn down the chance to be a total asshole. And he goes ahead and he says, well, ma'am, we had to. It's not our fault, we had to. You see, we were so good at our job, we killed so many people, we had to do our part to help repopulate the country. And some people might think that's terrible, I find it practical. I don't have any kids of my own, well, that I know of. As I always say, if I have any kids, they don't speak English. So, what do I got next? Anyway, so I'd like to take this moment to say fuck the coronavirus, and now everything's dirty. Thank you. Everybody's finding every place is dirty. I had one person come up to me and they said, Adam, I think the dirtiest place in the world is the public restroom. I said, really? Because I saw videos of kids going ahead and licking toilet seats so they can go and kind of say, I dare you, coronavirus. I don't think it's that bad. And I think everybody in the world, it's common knowledge, and we all know that the dirtiest place in the world is a politician's mouth. Because it's filled with nothing but dirty and filthy lies. There are a few places as close to being as dirty as a politician's mouth. It turns out it's the back seat of the car of every woman I've ever dated. I'm convinced of this because I would take a little road trip with any girl that I was dating at the time. And, hey, let's take my car, she says. It'll be fun, she says. Yeah, until she asks you to help her clean out her car for the trip. And with the stuff you find back there, you could feed, clothe, and possibly build a structure for a child in poverty. Trust me when I say that I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that with the food you find back there, you could build a Happy Meal. And that stuff never really goes bad. I mean, it's made out of like the plastic from the ocean, so it's probably still pretty easy to consume. And then if you also look back there, you're going to find a bunch of Starbucks cups, so you know that I date basic white women. And with these Starbucks cups, you can build an entire house just by stacking them up, because there's so many of them back there. But let's not forget the clothes. The fucking clothes, I swear. Jesus, man. I don't understand. I guess I now understand why every girl I ever dated never had anything to wear. Because they were taking their clothes off in the back seat. And I was not invited when this was happening. And then these women like to bitch and complain to me and say, you never buy me anything nice. Well, there's a reason for that, because I don't want my hard-earned money going to buy you something that's just going to end up in that landfill you call a car. Oh, what have I got next? Oh, yeah. So, anyway, I used to think the most awkward and or uncomfortable thing I ever did in my life was my 20-year high school reunion. You see, you think about it, you're going and seeing a bunch of people you haven't seen or talked to for the better part of 2 decades. And then all of a sudden they're pretending like they're really interested in what's going on in your life. I mean, it's it's weird, yeah, but not uncomfortable. So I got to thinking, what was the most uncomfortable thing? See, when my mom and dad got divorced, my mom decided that was the time to go ahead and become gay. And so when it came time for me to get, the talk, I got the talk from 2 lesbians. And it couldn't have been any easier for them. Think about it. You got 2 lesbians having to give the sex talk to a young boy. I'm sure the LGBTQ community has literature written, for just that situation nowadays. But they sure as fuck did in the early 90s. So talk starts, no one knows what they're doing. The birds and the bees talk kind of turns into the birds and the birds talk. And then my mom was dating this just terrible, horrible person at that time. So this woman whom my brother nicknamed the Dickless Dad, she decides, and she looks at my mom, she looks at me, shrugs her shoulders and scars me for life and says, well, I guess we could teach you how to eat a mean pussy.
Otherwise, you can see if she knows where it's at.
Anyway, being that I'm an older guy now, I am 42 years old, I like to give advice to the younger guys. You see, because when I can't speak for the younger generation, but for my generation, older ones, we never got any help. Any help you might have gotten from somebody was like, just go stick it in something and see what happens, And if you did happen to have any problems, and you went and you talked to an older guy and said, hey man, I've got a problem, well, what do I do? What's your advice? Well, I advise you man up and stop being such a little bitch. Thank you, Dad, that's great advice, and I'm going to cherish that forever, Quotable moments from the old man. So, women got all the help, actually. Women had, pamphlets and brochures. Pamphlets and brochures such as, hey, welcome to your vagina. And that old classic, every man's a rapist. Here would be a great and helpful pamphlet for men. This would be a great pamphlet for men. Hey, buddy, that prenup's a good idea. I know she's being nice to you right now, but you just wait until you sign that contract and she gets pissed off and tries to take half. That pamphlet doesn't exist. But, when it comes to relationships, these guys come to me and I'm upset. She dumped me. I'm like, whatever, dude. If you get dumped, it's not the end of the world. All right? I said, look, kid. A vagina's like a city bus, man. If you miss one, another one's coming along in 10 more minutes. Just hang in there. Usually about now, women tend to get upset at me, but I'll tell them to shut the hell up because I already know for you ladies, dick's like an Uber driver. You just go ahead and punch it in, and it's on the way. And you literally can mark its progress through your smartphone. One more piece of advice for any young guys out there. You may have met this girl, and if not, you will. This is the girl where you had a great date, you're getting hot and heavy, and she stops you and says, look, I need to let you know that I'm not on birth control and I'm allergic to latex. And that, you should thank her because that's good advice. Not good advice, it's good information. No, so you need to look at her and say, look, oh great, that's awesome, thank you. I need to inform you that I will be doing you in the butt later because that's nature's condom. Man, I don't know if anyone's ever gotten pregnant from butt sex, but maybe the Virgin Mary, I don't know. Anyway, where's Scott Zank at? I need him up here. We're going to do a song. This is a music festival, so we are going to sing a song for you. Unfortunately, we don't have a band, so and I'm not really too worried about it. I think we're going to do okay. We do have the pick of destiny with us, so there you go. All right, here's Scott Zank. This song that I had done, I did not write it. A guy that I was in the Navy with, his name was Corey Lee. He's a musician in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he's Tulsa, Oklahoma. So if you like acoustic stuff, go see Corey. Anyway, since we don't happen to have a...
I did it again. I don't have any beer in here.
You should have got one, man. Anyway, since we don't have a band, we are going to go ahead and just have everybody kind of clap in unison here. So I'll have Scott kind of do that. If you're still with us. If not, we're just talking for no fucking reason.
I always do it too fast. I'm sorry. But I do need your help.
All right. Come on. A little slower.
Who the hell's that shit?
This is a love song, by the way, because we all need a little love in our hearts and such.
And you're just one of
I'm sitting alone on the toilet. I'm thinking of you while I'm taking a shit.
really?
I got bored, so I started spanking my monkey. You walked in and I didn't quit. Your eyes got big while my dick got bigger.
So much.
You asked me if I needed a hand.
I got 2.
I said get on your knees and baby, smile like a donut. You sucked me off while I was on the can. Blumpkin, you gave me a blumpkin. You sucked me off while I was going poo. Blumpkin, you gave me a blumpkin. Don't ever ask me to do the same for you. Keep clapping, it's not over yet. The very next day was kind of awkward.
Oh, that's weird.
I just couldn't look you in the eye.
Looking at her butthole.
Cause you were on your knees and baby, you were sucking while the shit was dropping between my thighs. Blumpkin, you gave me a blumpkin. You sucked me off while I was going poo. Blumpkin, you gave me a blumpkin. Don't ever ask me to do the same for you. It's not that I don't love you. The shit just gross. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. My name's Adam Cameron. Thank you for letting us entertain you tonight. Have a great one.
All right, keep it going for Adam Cameron, everybody. Yeah, that was disgusting, but I know some of you are Googling Blumpkin right now, and I want you to know you're welcome. All right, so I got one more thing to say. I don't know where he put the mic stand. God, I'm bad at this. Oh, they're both right here. Okay. Anyway, fuck it. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Yeah, that would be really cool. I ended up with 2. All right, so anyway. Oh, wow, that one's loud.